you've done wonderful biographies of N.C. Wyeth and Charles Schulz, and now you're doing this. Now you've done this one on Eleanor Roosevelt, but there've been, numerous biographies of her, and I'm just curious why you thought this was a subject worth doing again, and what you thought you could find that hadn't been, previously covered.
Yeah, it was a challenge. I mean, everybody from her, her dentist and her doctor to her closest friends have written memoirs. Biographers and historians have written dozens of books. It's absolutely a crowded field, and even in a corner of a much larger industry, Roosevelt studies in general, and the presidency and the Roosevelt administration. I mean, it's dozens and dozens and dozens of books. What I wanted to do, and what I felt literally didn't exist at the time, because it didn't, was I wanted to write a book that made you feel, once you'd finished reading it, that you really knew who she was. That you'd have an aha moment of, I get it. Now I see. Because look, think about it. Eleanor Roosevelt, okay, 7th grade, 8th grade, the dreaded term paper, choose a subject. Well, Helen Keller. Well, Anne Frank. Helen Keller, oh yeah, she was, she was challenged because she didn't have sight, and she didn't have hearing, and she didn't even have taste at certain points. She was stuck within herself. And then along comes Annie Sullivan and Anne Frank. What is Anne Frank to a 7th grader? Well, she's the girl just like themselves, but she's locked in, in the attic and terrified of what's going to happen today. Eleanor Roosevelt, what does she do? She's first lady. What did she do? Why is Eleanor? And that question of why is Eleanor Roosevelt, and what was Eleanor Roosevelt at the end of her life, when she was absolutely sainted in the post-war Cold War world, is never answered by who Eleanor Roosevelt is and who Eleanor Roosevelt understood herself. And people get to the end of even the really quite comprehensive 3-volume biography of Eleanor Roosevelt, which was the biography when I began, and think to themselves, well, this is all great, but really, who is she? And I felt that there was still room for that answer, as well as that answer in a single volume. I mean, I know that sounds a little publishing literary, but to have her all together, all in one, and to know who she was and feel close to her was what I set out to do.